Hello, and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Hello there, Chris. Thoughts and prayers are with you, buddy. Hey there, sister. Hope you're doing well. Start off with the Bible verses, Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he was drowned in the depths of the sea. Matthew 18, verse 10. Take heed that you despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. Evil men understand not judgment. They that seek the Lord understand all things. In Isaiah 1:17, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take out the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, fair use, personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Hello, how are y'all doing? Amen. Amen. So without further ado, I think first I will show a little bit of the video, and then I'll show y'all some of the different news articles. So I will have to change my settings. You will not be able to hear me. Please let me know if you can hear the audio in a few minutes.
Again.
Good to see you, Senator.
We don't have a lot of time, so let me just get straight into it. Senator Cruz was asking you at the end of his time and questionings about United States versus Stewart. This is the case where Neil Stewart tried to cross state lines to rape another person's 9-year-old daughter. He had 6,700 images and videos of egregious and brutal child pornography. The government recommended 97 months. The guidelines said 97 to 121 months. You came in at 57 months. Senator Cruz asked you why. The chairman wouldn't let you answer. I thought maybe you'd like to answer now.
Thank you, Senator. No one case can stand in for a judge's entire record. I have sentenced more than 100 people in a variety of egregious circumstances. In every case, and especially cases that involve the kinds of acts that you're talking about, the kinds of evidence that I had to deal with as a judge. In every case, I am balancing the factors that Congress has determined are appropriate and required for a judge to make a determination.
I see.
The data points that Senator Cruz pointed to that you may have in front of you don't account for all of the information that was before me as a judge and the authority that you all, Congress, and your prior confirmation when I was a district judge provided for me to exercise my judgment. And I treated those cases and every case very seriously and imposed a sentence that was sufficient but not greater than necessary to promote the purposes of punishment.
Would it
Really?
surprise you to learn that Mr. Stewart's a recidivist? It was warrants issued again for his arrest. just 3 years after you sentenced him?
Would it surprise me?
Yeah, would it surprise you?
You know, Senator, there is data in the Sentencing Commission and elsewhere that indicates that there are serious recidivism issues. And so among the various people that I've sentenced, I'm not surprised that there are people who reoffend, and it is a terrible thing that happens in our system.
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
Yeah, indeed it is. Let me ask you about the Hawkins case. You and I talked about this yesterday. You've been able to think about it overnight. This is a case where you had an 18-year-old who possessed and distributed hundreds of images of 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds, and you gave him, frankly, a slap on the wrist sentence of 3 months.
Senator,
Do you regret it?
I don't remember whether it was distribution or possession. In
It was
the law,
both. Do you regret it?
In the law, there are different crimes that people commit.
Judge, you
in
gave
this
him 3
area.
months. My question is, do you regret it or not?
Senator, what I regret is that in a hearing about my qualifications to be a justice on the Supreme Court, we've spent a lot of time focusing on this small subset of my sentences.
Okay.
And I've tried to explain.
You regret that
many
we're focusing on
times-
your cases? I don't understand.
No. I'm talking about the fact that you're talking about
Child pornography
7
cases.
very serious cases.
I'm glad we agree on that. Don't you think? we should be focusing on
Some of which involve conduct that I sentence people to 25, 30 years.
3 months
for-
in this case, Judge. Do you regret it? You haven't answered my question yet. Do
Senator-
you regret this sentence?
Senator, I would have to look at the circumstances. What I'm telling you,
You know the circumstances.
Are you kidding me?
We discussed it for half an hour yesterday. There's a 55-page transcript, which I'm sure you've read. You
I
lived
did not-
it.
I
As
did
you've
not.
emphasized to this committee over and over, you've lived it, right? You said that you've been through all of this. You've looked at all of the images. You're the one who's had to endure all of it.
I see.
You gave him a 3-month sentence. I just wonder if you regret it or if you stand by it. I mean, do you stand by that sentence?
Senator, in every case, I followed what Congress authorized me to do
Really?
in looking to the best of my ability at all of the various factors that apply, that constrain judges, that give us discretion, but also tell us how to sentence.
No offense, but how?
And I ruled in every case based on all of the relevant factors.
So you don't regret it?
No one case, Senator, can stand in for a
Now, I'm not asking that.
entire
I'm asking
record.
if you regret this sentence in this case. And it sounds like the answer is no. But I want to tell you, I regret it.
Why?
I regret that you gave him only 3 months. Let me read to you what you said about these kinds of cases. In fact, to this defendant, you said, "Make no mistake, Mr. Hawkins, the children you saw in those pictures were not willing participants in the conduct that you witnessed. They were being forced to commit unspeakable acts of sexual violence for the pleasure of the person who was filming and for the gratification of sick people everywhere, people who apparently have no shred of empathy for what this must be doing to the children who are being abused in this way." You go on. Some of the children you saw in those pictures will never have a normal adult relationship. Some of them will turn to drugs and prostitution and other vices to try to deal emotionally with the pain that results from the torture that they have experienced.
You're absolutely right.
And even those who manage to lead a somewhat normal adult life say they live in constant fear of being recognized. Some people are even unable to leave their houses because once those pictures are on the internet, they are there forever.
That's correct.
And the victims can't do anything without worrying that every person that they meet has seen them in their most vulnerable state at the most horrible time in their lives. That's your words, pages 34 and 35 of the transcript. Powerful words, Judge. I just don't understand why after saying this and believing this, you could give this guy 3 months in prison when the probation office that we've heard so much about recommended 18 months. Even
Are you serious?
the probation office recommended 18 months. Do you have anything to add?
No, Senator.
Let me ask you about your policy of not giving enhancements when there are prepubescent children, like there were in the Hawkins case, who are 8, 9, 10 years old, when there are prepubescent children involved. I'm just struggling to understand this. You said it in Hawkins. You said that you weren't going to give him an enhancement. You weren't going to make his sentence any tougher, despite the fact that we had all of these terrible videos that you and I talked about at length yesterday. This is page 38 of the transcript, just so that we're all following along. You said, in your case, I don't feel that it is appropriate necessarily to increase the penalty on the basis of your use of a computer, and we've talked about that, or the number of images or prepubescent victims as the guidelines require, because these circumstances exist in many cases, if not most, and they don't signal an especially heinous or egregious child pornography.
Pretty sickening, isn't it, y'all? Okay, let me show you this right here. Here is her thing. Judge Jackson's disturbing record shows she hands down sentences well below the national average. Judge Jackson's sentences have been dramatically lower than comparable averages for both child pornography cases specifically and all criminal cases in general. Child pornography cases, possession, distribution, sentencing. Look at the differences. Okay, like she's got a 47% difference. She only does, right here. And majority of people make them serve that long, right? How about right here with the possession of pornography? It's 29.2. When most people do this right here, the national average prosecuting. And we already know that they don't sentence these people long enough as it is. And yet, look, she's just giving them a slap on the wrist herself. Sentence imposed for possession of child pornography. The national average is 68 months. Jackson's average is 29.3 months. The difference, Jackson imposed sentences of 57% less than the national average. So it's not just the 18-year-old that she done this to. She right here is helping the pornographers. Sentence imposed for distribution of child pornography. The national average sentence is 135 months, and Jackson's average is 71.9 months. So Jackson imposed sentences 47% less than the national average. Something is wrong here, people. Something is here. Then it said Judge Jackson's record in all criminal cases from 2015 to 2019. National average is 45.1 months. For the D.C. district, average is 39.8, and for her, 29.9%. Sentence imposed at U.S. District Court for District of Columbia. Here we go on to say. So here is right here with the United States versus Hawkins. And Hawkins, the 18-year-old defendant, downloaded child pornography depicting prepubescent boys ages 8 to 12, engaging in sexual acts with other children and adults. Defendant uploaded 37 images to a file sharing service. Uploaded, not downloaded, uploaded. Law enforcement ultimately discovered 17 videos and 16 images saved on the defendant's computer. Judge Jackson's sentence of 3 months was significantly lower than every other recommendation. 18 months from probation, 24 months from the prosecutor, and 97 to 121 from the sentencing guidelines. After serving a short sentence, the defendant reoffended and violated the terms of the supervised release in 2019. Judge Jackson placed him in a halfway house for 6 months. Oh, yep. Key quotes from Judge Jackson's case. I feel so sorry for your family and for you for the anguish this has caused all of you. There seems to be a situation in which you were fascinated by sexual images involving what were essentially your peers. I do think that the guideline factors are in many ways outdated and no longer adequately distinguish more serious child pornography offenders from less serious child pornography offenders. For example, the guidelines focus primarily on the number of images and the use of computer, which are hardly aggravating factors today. And there's the United States versus Cooper. We'll just go on like this. I'm going to close that case out now. I want to show y'all something else. I showed y'all the facts of her cases and stuff. The teen sentenced to 3 months by SCOTUS nominee Jackson felt confusion and shock from images. The U.S. Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown testifies during her Senate Judiciary Committee confirmation hearing on Capitol Hill Wednesday. Many Republican members of the Senate Judiciary Committee have focused their attention on a 3-month sentence the U.S. Supreme Court nominee Jackson imposed on a youth in a child pornography case. 18 years old is not a youth. It is classified as a legal adult. Don't try to put it as a youth. It's not a youth. 18-year-old. During Jackson's confirmation hearing, GOP senators have portrayed her as being soft on crime, particularly in her below-guideline sentencing in 7 child pornography cases, which we done proved that that's the fact. That's true. She's been soft on it. And everything that she does, every crime that she prosecuted, that the average is a lot lower. And they want to support her, these people do. And it's like it's sick. So this is Josh Hawley absurdly, they're saying that he absurdly suggests that Ketanji Brown Jackson has a soft spot for child predators. What else would you call it? What else would you call it? Excuse me. Giving them a slap on the wrist 3 months? What else would you call it? You can't call it nothing but a soft spot, right? And why are you looking out for the criminals? Why aren't you protecting the people this is happening to? And then you're going up for Supreme Court judge? And you already aren't doing your job wherever you were from? I hope and pray you do not get the job. Then it said here, we're retired federal judge in child porn cases. I did exactly what Ketanji Brown Jackson did. That I was a district judge for 14 years. These kind of cases are difficult, but to suggest that Jackson's work is outside the mainstream is wrong and wrong-headed. Well, maybe outside the mainstream. Let's go like this. Okay. So you did exactly what she did? You did exactly what she did. Maybe y'all need to go to jail for y'all not protecting the citizens, not doing your legal duty. These offenders are going back out there and reoffending. And y'all give them just a slap on the wrist. You know, y'all are letting it keep happening. Y'all are just continuing letting this sickness happen. But one of the things I didn't want to go ahead and read again, but they actually said she's a kid. She looked at him as a kid. I don't care if you looked at as a kid. 18, you are considered an adult legally. These kind of sick images, I don't care. There's some 16-year-olds that have pornography material, and they did stiffer things towards them as well. Excuse me, why are you not helping fight this crime? You are hurting the children. You are saying it's okay. So let's hope and pray for our government that she does not get in there as a Supreme Court justice. So I just thought I'd bring that to y'all's attention, and I'll say thank you all, and y'all have a wonderful day. Remember to speak out.